Welcome to Stab the Dragon Productions for episode number 106. As we continue the Texas Rye Whiskey Tournament, moving into the Elite 8. These 8 Texas Rye Whiskeys made it through the first round of the tournament. Blackland 83 proof, Lockwood 90 proof, Lead Slingers Fighting Spirit Rye 90 proof, Herman Marshall 92 proof, Still Austin 99.6, Acre Texas Rye 100, Rum Cask Finish, Blackland Rye 100, and Cotton Hollow at 101. Tonight, the competitors are Blackland 83 proof versus Lockwood 90 proof. Now, what are the rules? These whiskeys must be from Texas or Texas related in some manner. They must meet the legal definition of a rye whiskey, of course. But what am I specifically looking for? In this part of the tournament, I'm looking for good rye flavor. Now, this is a double elimination tournament, so the losers of the first round are going to get a chance to fight their way back and challenge the winners. In case of a tie, the win goes to the whiskey with the better price and availability here in Fort Worth. When the losers bracket begins, there's also going to be a rule change. In the losers bracket, I'm going to be looking for the whiskey that I simply like the best regardless of rye flavor. Now, why do I say that? Some Texas ryes that are exposed to the harsh climate, in other words, they don't have a climate-controlled warehouse, they have a distinctive char to it that is common with Texas whiskeys. And that char can override the rye flavor. And that makes for a wonderful whiskey. I love the Texas char. So, in other words, I've got two fundamentally different kinds of ryes in this tournament. One that's climate controlled that has great rye flavor. The other, exposed to the climate, has great char and a little bit of rye flavor. So those are very different, and so I'm doing this tournament to see which one I actually like the best of each category, and then which category do I like the best. But furthermore, at the end of the tournament, what I hope to do is take in some of the nation's standard ryes and compare those with the winners in the Texas rye category to see if the Texas ryes can stand up to the nation's standard ryes. Now, when I'm doing this competition, I do try to mix up the glasses so that I don't know exactly which is which. Sometimes my wife helps me with that, which is what's happened tonight. But sometimes the visuals on a glass of whiskey can give me a clue about which is which, right? Because sometimes one rye may be darker than the other one. Now, in tonight's competitors, the Blackland Rye 83 versus the Lockwood 90 proof, this is what we've got. The rye in the Blackland bottle tastes like it's been aged in a climate-controlled warehouse because it doesn't have that Texas char, that Texas funk. And in the first round, that whiskey defeated Acre Texas Rye 80 proof, and it come from behind way because I had favored Acre to win because it had the heavy char notes that I like. Blackland's also the only distillery that has 2 ryes that have won in the first round. The Lockwood Rye 90 proof, made by Lockwood Distilling, again, they've got 2 distilleries, one in Richardson, Texas, suburb of Dallas, one in Fort Worth, because they emphasize their restaurants. And so that's why they have multiple distilleries there. But this rye has got a strange or an odd vegetable note to it. In a lot of the reviews that I've read online, a lot of people didn't like the Lockwood rye because of that. I found it interesting and it stands out, and so I did like it, and it won the first round. It came from behind against Oak and Eden Rye and Spire. So those are the 2 competitors. Price, what we're looking at, Lockwood is available at Goody for $31.99, Total One $31.99, but not at Specs. Blackland is available at Total Wine for $26.99, Specs at $29.46, and Goody at $32.99. So in case of a tie, that's leaning towards Blackland for sure for price and availability. So now let's get on with the contest. Again, I don't know which glass is which. You will be able to tell when I raise the glass. On the bottom is a number 1 under Blackland and a number 2 under Lockwood. I can't see the number from my perspective, but you'll be able to see that. And again, guessing which is not, that doesn't matter as far as the winner goes. It's just, that's the fun part. So first I'm going to hold up these glasses so that we can look at them, and they are very similar. The one in my right hand may be just a shade, very possibly darker, but not by much. So I'm not sure which that is. So now let's do the smell test here. The nosing. And I'm saying based off the smell, the aromas I'm getting, the notes here, this is going to be the Lockwood. I'm going to set this by the bottle. And I'm guessing that this is the Blackland, so I'm going to set it here. So we'll see if I'm right. Now it's time for the all-important taste. So I'll start with the one on my left. And that is just a pure rye flavor. So I'm really convinced that's Blackland. Blackland has got a nice, clean, perfect rye flavor. And that's what I'm getting in that glass right there. Yeah. So that's for an 83 proof, which is kind of an odd proof point for rye. I know that Wild Turkey's got an 81 proof, but for an 83 proof, that's really got a nice, strong rye flavor. I mean, that's really a very beautiful rye right there, and I can see why it won the first round. Okay, going in for the second glass, which I think is Lockwood based off the smell, the aromas. That is definitely the Lockwood. You've got a strong vegetable note that carries that rye in there as well. This is a very distinctive flavor. There's no other rye that's similar to that, although maybe with a bullet rye, and that's a 95.5 rye. Bullet rye, you get a strong eraser note, at least I do, and bullet rye is incredibly popular. I wasn't really a fan of it, but the Lockwood here I like much better than the bullet rye, obviously. But this is an eraser. You know, some people get eucalyptus out of rye. This is, man, I think of broccoli, to tell you the truth, when I'm drinking this rye. There's a vegetable note. It's hard to pin down. The rye flavor is definitely there. It's strong, but it's being carried by this vegetable note. So I think that I have identified which is which, but the question is, which one do I like the best? So it's purely subjective. You know, taste is a personal thing. So trying to determine in in this category, which rye do I like the best? Which one would I prefer to drink the majority of the time? In other words, if I was going to say, have drink 5 times, which of these would I prefer to drink? 3? Which would I prefer to drink? 2? I don't think it's going to be lopsided. I don't think it's going to be 4-1. I think I'm looking at a 3-2 because both of these won the first round. They're both good. So I'm going in for the second try. Now, part of the difficulty is I can tell the proof difference. That Blackland is 83. The Lockwood clearly has the better mouthfeel. It's got kind of a thick, oily nature to it at 90 proof. But we have to make a winner here. While they're both good, they both were winners from the first round, I'm going to give the win to Blackland. Blackland 83 for the win. And that's a tough call because that beat out a 90 proof whiskey there. But the oddity of Lockwood, though I find it attractive and it's good and I would never hesitate to drink it, that strong vegetable note doesn't quite carry the rye flavor the way the Blackland does. So advantage to Blackland. All right, we've got a winner. Now, next time that we meet, Lead Slinger's Fighting Spirit Rye at 90 proof versus Herman Marshall Rye 92 proof. Now, the thing about Lead Slingers is that it's an Oklahoma distillery, Scissortail Distillery in Moore, Oklahoma, but it's owned by Matt Best, a Texan, and Herman Marshall is here local in North Texas. So not much difference in the proof there, 90 versus 92, but that'll be our contest next time. So for now, this is Stab the Dragon, out here.